fishy folks, and welcome back to Michael's Fish Room. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Today's video, how to feed guppy fish. That's right, folks, how to feed guppies. Now, you might be saying to yourself, but Mike, all you do is drop some food in there. And you're right. It's pretty simple. A lot of people overthink feeding, as they overthink most things in an aquarium. I don't have time to overthink, plus I'm not that smart, so I'm going to show you quick, easy methods how to feed guppies. Before we get started with that, do me a favor, go ahead and check out my website, www.michaelsfishroom.com, where you can check out all the guppies and plecos I breed here in my fish room. Go ahead and grab a snack and a beverage, and stand by. Alright, fishy folks, we're back. We're going to talk about how to feed guppies. Before we do that, let's talk about guppy food. Now, I'm fine. There's definitely some specific foods designed for guppies. One of my favorites is this Cobalt Ultra Guppy Pellet. And this is a ginormous tub because, you know, 55 tanks of breeding guppies, I feed a lot of this stuff. Now, this is magical stuff. It floats and it sinks. It's about 1/2 millimeter, so it's great for almost all size guppies except for newly born fry. When it comes to feeding guppies, I recommend a varied diet of different protein levels. Now, as an example, this New Life Spectrum Grow, specifically designed to help fish grow, has 45% protein. And the first ingredient is giant squid. The second is whole Antarctic krill. Now, the third ingredient is wheat. And let's just talk about wheat and other, what people consider fillers in fish food. In order to get a fish food to actually stay together, you need something to bind it together. You need something with gluten. That's where that wheat comes in. Most fish food companies, especially the high quality ones, aren't just adding wheat because it's cheap and it's as a filler. They need it to bind the flake or pellet together. So don't let that wheat or gluten as the third or fourth or fifth ingredient bother you. As long as the first two are good, high quality things like giant squid or whole Antarctic krill. Let's take a look at this. Here's another flake that I feed. It's Ocean Nutrition Discus Flake. I will have links down below for all of this stuff. As you guys know, I buy most of my fish food from Super Cichlids, supercichlids.com. My friends Martin and Lisa, they have a fish shop in Delaware. They have a pretty nice online store as well, where you can buy food and other dry goods as well. But this Discus Flake, that's right, it's Discus Flake, I feed to my guppies. Why? Because it's got high quality ingredients and great protein. So dried fish protein digest, salmon, and then wheat gluten. Now, I spoke to guys at Ocean Nutrition about this because I questioned, what does dried fish protein digest mean? It's just a form of protein that comes from fish. It's some of the same protein that's used in protein powder for humans. So it's not crap, it's just not something you would expect. At any rate, this one has 51.8% protein. I wouldn't feed this every day. I feed it maybe once a week, twice a week, because the protein level is very, very high. Now, you guys who are guppy guys, you might know this company, Scott from Fancy Tail Aquatics. Look, there's his sticker he sent me. Scott's bought fish from me, and he has his own line of food, which I've been trying out, quite frankly, way too long. He sent me food before I went to Japan in November, and I'm just getting around to talking about it because I wanted to test it out long term. So he sent me a earthworm flake, little jars like this, earthworm flake, hopefully that'll focus, boom, egg flake, fry food, and color flake. He also sent me some pleco food, which I wasn't too big of a fan of. I don't even know where it is, quite frankly, but my favorite food of his, Fancy Tail Aquatics, egg flake, fry food. I loved it. The guppies loved it. They did well. They grew fast. Also, the earthworm flake I really liked. And the color flake, I didn't really notice much of a difference, but all the fish liked it. It didn't cloud the water. If you want to try a new source for food, check out Fancy Tail Aquatics on YouTube. I'm sorry. Yeah, Fancy Tail Aquatics on YouTube or Facebook. And Scott's the owner. Let him know yours truly sent him. Anyway, a variety of foods is important. So we have the Discus Flake, high protein. We have the New Life Spectrum, high protein. I also like this Cobalt Ultra Color, 45% protein. Again, really great ingredients: salmon meal, wheat flour. Not super great, but good. My favorite flake of all time, by the way, is currently this community flake from Northfin. I know it was all the rage, and they come in this ginormous tub, and that's a lot, but everybody loves it and does really well on it. Couple other foods you can try for sure. Frozen food. I love frozen cyclops, baby brine shrimp, and bloodworms. I don't typically do tube flex worms or some other things. The cyclops I really like, and I do a lot. They're small enough for a fry, and also the brine shrimp and bloodworms. I feed frozen foods a couple times a week as well. They're just upstairs. I don't have them down here. But so a variety of foods. You know the foods I like. You know if I don't like something, I don't talk about it, or I slam it once and then that's the end of it. And if I like something, I talk about it a lot. These are all the foods I feed. Another food I feed for fry is this cobalt smartemia. I mean, this stuff is like gold. But the ultimate trick is, of course, the peppermill. So I'm fine. Here's the story. If you don't know the story, I bought 6 mil krill pellets for Chewy, my super red dragon flower horn, and he doesn't particularly care for them. So I didn't know what to do with them because I bought a big bag like this, and it's Antarctic krill. It's good stuff. And so I'm like, I'll put in a peppermill after somebody mentioned buy a peppermill. Not my idea. I stole it from someone. But I'll put a link to this peppermill down below. I think it's like 20 bucks. I had one like this. I dropped it in a tank. That's right, folks. I dropped it in a tank. And of course, I couldn't, it didn't work after that. So I bought a different brand that was cheaper. Hated it. Didn't work. Batteries went dead really fast. So I bought the same one again. Again, link down below. Click it, $1 million right here. But the Antarctic krill in the krill pellets, 100% krill. And so when you grind it up into little tiny itty bitty powder, it's better than Fry Starter from Northfin. It's obviously Northfin food. All right, let's talk about how to feed your fish. If you look at any one of these packages, the ingredients will say put enough food in for your fish to eat in 1 minute, or 2 minutes, or 1 to 2 minutes, or 2 to 3 minutes. The amount of food you feed directly will correlate to how much water you want to change. Let's think about that for a second. You feed food, fish eat food, create waste, boom, ammonia, right? So if your cycle is working and doing great and you're doing the same amount of feeding, meaning you have the same bioload, no problem with your cycle. But if you start to overfeed every now and again, your cycle might go a little haywire, and if you notice that, you're gonna have to change water. How much water? Depends on how your cycle goes. You shouldn't overfeed to the point of crashing your tank. I overfeed all my tanks every day, but I also have an auto water change system. If you don't, you gotta be a little bit more careful. If you're trying to grow fry, you're gonna have to overfeed. If you have a bunch of females and you're trying to get them pregnant and to drop fry, you're gonna have to overfeed. And that doesn't mean put in enough food for them to eat in 5 minutes. That means you have to watch and see how much they eat. Guppies are opportunistic feeders, which means they'll eat until they explode pretty much. I mean, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying. So, put in a little food, they eat it. Put in a little more food, they eat it. Put in a little more food. As they start to slow down, that's when you stop. Okay? Let's refill our snack and beverage, go over a tank, and I'll show you what I mean, okay? Stand by. All right, fishy folks, we are here at the Blue Neon tank. These fish are on the website. Blue Neon's very popular, actually. Not a big fan myself, but a lot of people like the colors. They have a nice dark blue, black, a little bit of green in the tail sometimes. The females are very, very prolific, and they drop a ton of fry. So I'm going to take some Northfin Community Flake food, and if you see here how much I have, I'm just going to do this with my fingers and drop it in. Now that's a lot of food, right? But there's probably, I don't know, 30 guppies in here, full-size adults, and there's a bunch of fry swimming in the bottom. You can see how fast they're eating it and just devouring the food. It's great food. It's got a good garlic smell to it. Sometimes I sprinkle it on pizza. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that's how much I feed at a time, and then I come back. And when I come back, if it's all gone in a minute or two, I feed some more. So I'm gonna move the camera and show you a different angle, okay? Stand by. All right, fishy folks, this is pretty much water level feeding here. We're gonna take some more community flake from Northvin, drop it in. You can see there it goes. And look at them, going crazy for the food. Now, as I said, guppies will pretty much eat anything. They're opportunistic eaters, but it is important to give a high quality diet. That doesn't mean you have to go out and spend $1 million on food. I would make sure you have a varied diet that includes different protein levels. Guppies are omnivores, which means they eat both meat and vegetable matter. And so you want something with a variety in it. I always look for fish foods that have high quality 1 or 2 ingredients. And then if it has a filler or a binder, not a filler, if it has a binder, then that's fine with me. I've told you the foods I like. Certainly there's other brands out there that may work well for you or work well for other people, and that's fine. As I always say, if something works for you, it's right for you. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean it's wrong. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this how to feed guppy fish video. If you have any questions or want to tell me what you feed, for sure leave a comment down below, and hope you guys have a great day. Why? Because it's got good ingredients and high quality, I'm sorry. Let's talk about some other foods. Now, I don't know guys, I bought 6 mil, blah, 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 blah.